Hi, y'all. Jessie Fan from thebudgetmama.com. And today I'm going to talk about the one thing that gets me in trouble the most in the personal finance world. I have several friends that are big shots in the personal finance niche. People who make their entire living as financial planners, big dogs, so to speak. And I get in trouble a lot for what I'm about to talk about because no one likes it when I talk about this. And that is that my husband and I do not have a credit card. Usually when my neighbors or my friends or our family in real life hear that we don't have a credit card, they think that means we don't use a credit card. Like we have them, they just might be like sitting in a block of ice somewhere. But the truth is that we don't actually have a single one. So we couldn't use one if we even wanted to. We would have to actually go and apply for a credit card in order to use a credit card. We don't have business credit cards. We don't have personal credit cards, nothing like that. And so this gets me in trouble in the personal finance world because everyone wants to tell you how to use credit cards responsibly. And instead, I'm sitting here saying, well, if you don't want to have a credit card, you don't have to have one. Like you can live without one. We're living proof. We've spent 3 years without credit cards. 3 years, we haven't had a single credit card. And it has been beautiful and wonderful not having one. And so the question I'm often asked is, well, why don't you have one? I mean, you can earn rewards. You don't have to sit here and wait to buy these things that you really want to. Like, you don't have to save up the money. Like, you could just go and buy it and then take what you were going to save every month towards saving up to buy the purchase. You could just put that on the credit card and pay it off, and then you get the rewards points. And I'm not telling you that that's a horrible idea or that you're terrible if you even do that. I'm just saying that for us, that's temptation, and it doesn't work. It does not work well for us. It is a temptation to spend more than what we really would have. Because honestly, we tried the whole responsible route with credit cards. This was like 2 or 3 years before we finally decided to get rid of credit cards. We were like becoming very responsible with our credit cards. I mean, my husband had a harder time than I did, but we still, for the most part, were very responsible with our credit cards. But once we decided to become debt free, I just realized, like, why do we have these credit cards? Why are we using them? It doesn't make any sense. It just seems that I end up buying stuff that I don't really need, or even I don't even think I wanted half the stuff I would buy. It would just be like, oh, I'm bored. So, hey, new pair of shoes. Those are cute, right? Like that's exactly what would happen to me every single time. And then I would justify, oh, well, I'm going to earn, this much cash back on it. And I'm going to be able to get these rewards points and blah, blah, blah. Like I would literally justify it to myself based on whatever reward I was going to get from the credit card company. And that's no way to ever do your finances, by the way. Ever do not judge your budget based on how much rewards points you're going to get. Don't ever do that. That's bad. That's bad. Don't do that. But that's what I would do. And so using credit cards responsibly wasn't really working out for us. It was too much temptation to keep falling into old habits and to keep spending more money than what we really had. Because the thing is that for us anyways, our credit limits were always like 5 times higher than the cash balance sitting in our checking account or even in our savings account. It would just be like we could literally go and spend tens of thousands of dollars on a credit card in one fell swoop if we wanted to, but we would not be able to do that out of our checking account. And so I felt like there was a little bit of a disconnect there. It almost, the more I thought about it, I was like, well, like, why am I going to spend all this time having to pay back the bank this money? Like, I don't understand. So for us, when we decided to become debt-free, getting rid of credit cards was one of the best decisions we ever made. They were the first thing that we got rid of. At the time, my husband and I, we just each had one credit card apiece. They were both a Discover card. They were 2 separate accounts. So it wasn't actually like a joint credit account. It was 2 separate credit cards. But those were the only 2 credit cards that we had. And we paid them off within first, I think it was like 7 months, 6 or 7 months of deciding to become debt-free. We had paid them both off. And it was scary, very, very scary. When we paid off the last one, we canceled it, caught it up, and we were like, wow, we don't have a credit card to use anymore. It seemed a little weird. It seemed like we didn't have some safety net anymore. But the reality was that it was never a safety net to begin with. Having an emergency fund in place, that's a safety net. Relying on a credit card, that's not a safety net. You're hoping that the bank is going to allow you to basically borrow their money. They're going to charge you interest on the money that you're borrowing to help you with whatever emergency it is that you're dealing with. And then you're going to have to stress and worry about how you're going to pay it back. When instead, if you just reached into your own pocket, took out your own money, and paid for the emergency, you're not having to stress about, having to set up payment plans with the company to make sure that you can pay them back on time, wondering what kind of interest it's going to be and wondering when you're going to be able to pay them back. You don't have to worry about that. All that stress is gone because it's your money. It's your money that you took from you. You didn't take it from anybody else. You took it from you. And so it was hard at first to wrap our brains around the fact that we didn't have a credit card to rely on anymore, that there was no more of this rewards points, fun game to play anymore, which actually was a blessing. I was really done with trying to chase all the different rewards things that you could get, which we ended up never using. We would literally use a rewards balance to pay off the credit card balance for that month. It seemed a little crazy to me, but that's what would happen. And so because we don't use them, our life is a little bit easier in a sense. It's easier to manage our money because all the money that we have in our bank accounts, that's our money. We're not having to worry about, managing, okay, well, we can pay XYZ this month to this, this credit card or to this or to that, or it'll take us this long to pay off this credit card. We don't have to worry about those things anymore. And it's really nice. It's a very peaceful way to live, to be honest with you. It really is. And for us, it has been a true blessing and true freedom. And that's what I really want for everyone, is I want them to experience that. I want them to experience life without credit cards, but I also understand that not everyone wants to get rid of their credit cards. And if that's you, if you don't want to get rid of your credit card, then don't get rid of it. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying that if you want a life without credit cards, you can have a life without credit cards. Don't allow anybody to tell you that you have to have one, because you don't have to have one. If you don't want one, you don't have to have them. Plain and simple. And if you need more help on understanding how to get rid of the credit cards and how to start living life without them, I'm going to include a couple of different links for you to check out so you can see some of the different ways that we've done it. But you can also always just email me at jessiefearon@thebudgetmama.com, and I'm more than happy and more than willing to answer any questions that you have about starting off on this debt-free journey about living without credit cards. The number one piece of advice I will give you, that if you are trying to go debt-free, not have credit cards anymore, not have loans anymore, that type of thing, is to be committed. And to be committed means you have to stop using debt. You can't keep swiping a credit card if you're trying to pay off the credit card. You have to completely cut it up and be done with it. And that is honestly probably the hardest part of the whole thing. And as they always say, the first step is always the hardest one, right? So definitely be committed, cut up the credit cards, agree that you're never taking out debt again. And from there, it gets easier. It's hard at first, but at the end, it gets a lot easier. So again, just send me an email at jessiefearon, that's JESSIF as in Frank, EARON @thebudgetmama.com if you have any questions at all. And again, I'm going to include some links for you to check out for if you really want to start living life without credit cards or start living the debt-free life. So that way you can hopefully find your path into this debt-free journey. So thank you so much, and I can't wait to talk to you again.